It's not that long ago when these six players were among the very best in the baseball world. All-stars, Cy Young contenders, and even an MVP winner. They all appear to be on the road to superstardom. But so much can change in this game over just a year or two. During that time, these headline names have seen their production dip and their doubters increase. Injury concerns now follow most of them. They are young and talented enough to be productive major leaguers for many more seasons. But without a comeback, their future in the game could disappear. They are also on teams with realistic playoff aspirations in 2023, and each player will most likely be a free agent following the season. So yeah, this group has a lot at stake and a lot to prove in the games ahead. First player is Jesse Winker. Although he has battled several injuries throughout his 6-year career, Winker has often carried a dangerous bat whenever he is in the lineup. He slashed .292 with 36 homers through 164 games with the Reds from the start of 2020 through 2021. Winker seemed like the perfect trade acquisition last March for the offense-needy Mariners. He played in a career-high on 136 games with Seattle, and his 15.4% walk rate was one of the highest in baseball. But little else went right for the 2021 All-Star. His slugging percentage fell by 200 points, while his hard hit rate declined nearly 30%. He was even a below-average performer versus righties. Winker underwent surgeries on his neck and left knee following the regular season. It's not certain how much those ailments impacted his on-field play, but they provide a good explanation for his drop-off. Winker, who was traded to the Milwaukee Brewers in December, now finds himself on his third team in as many years. Perhaps a return to the National League Central will help him recapture some of the magic he had in Cincinnati. Flaherty cemented himself as one of the baseball's top hurlers in 2019. He paced National League starters in WHIP and fewest hits allowed while ranking fourth with a 2.75 ERA. At the age of 23 years old, Flaherty's future was bright. But as we learn every season, pitching can be extremely hazardous to your health. After logging about 40 innings during the shortened 2020 season, Flaherty was limited to just 78 innings in 2021 because of oblique and shoulder strains. His right shoulder continued to be a problem this past year as he delayed his debut until June and restricted him to only 8 innings pitched before September. He made 5 starts during the season's final full month and lasted at least 5 innings in each. The overall numbers weren't pretty, but the fact that Flaherty reached the end of the month unscathed counted as a victory. Can he build upon that and provide flashes of his previous brilliance? He's very young. Flaherty is one of the handful of players who really need to stay healthy in 2023. Third player is Mike Clevinger. Clevinger and the Chicago White Sox joined forces early in the offseason on a 1-year, $8 million contract that contains a mutual option for 2024. The former Cleveland pitcher is hoping his familiarity with the American League Central assists in a comeback. Clevinger's right elbow began to bark shortly after an August 2020 trade to San Diego, and he ultimately needed Tommy John surgery that November, effectively ending his 2021 season before it began. This past season got off to a bad start in spring training with the knee sprain that nagged him throughout the summer. He did make 22 regular season starts, but Clevinger's fastball velocity was down by 2 miles per hour. He finished with a 4.33 ERA, a career worst, and saw his strikeout rate plummet to 18%, well below the MLB average of 22%. Clevinger doesn't anticipate his velocity being a problem this season. At 32 years old, he can't afford another lost year. Fourth player is another White Sox player, Lucas Giolito. If the White Sox are to reign atop the American League Central, they need a rotation leader to be right. Giolito entered last year on the heels of 3 consecutive seasons in which he was at least 24% better than league average per ERA. He also had to put on 20 pounds of bulk to help shoulder the load as one of the White Sox workhorses, but he suffered an abdominal strain 4 innings into his opening day start, missed the next couple of weeks, and never got on track. His 4.90 ERA was nearly a run and a half higher than his ERA in each year from 2019 to 2021. Giolito said he has taken off the extra weight this offseason and is focusing more on fluid movement. He will undoubtedly be one of the best starters in next year's free agent class if he rebounds in 2023. A 2022 repeat could give prospective buyers lots of questions about his future value. Next two players are former Dodgers. First one is Joey Gallo. By the 2022 trade deadline, it was clear that Gallo needed a fresh start. His 140-game string with the Yankees was largely miserable as he put together a 159 slash line with a boatload of strikeouts. The slugging lefty whiffed in 33 of his final 66 at-bats with the Yanks before he was dealt to the Dodgers. However, Joey Gallo's fortunes didn't turn in Los Angeles as he had logged a .671 OPS across 137 regular season plate appearances. Now Gallo is embarking upon another reset after signing with the Minnesota Twins. His game is always going to have a few staples: a low average, lots of walks, a lofty barrel rate, and a league-leading strikeout percentage. Minnesota will probably overlook all of Gallo's negatives as long as a 29-year-old can lift his home run rate back to near or above 30%, which is where it resided from 2017 through 2019, when Gallo batted .217 with a 36% K rate, but produced an .869 OPS thanks to his 103 homers during that span. Last player on this list is also a former Dodger, Cody Bellinger. Bellinger received multi-year offers as a free agent this offseason, according to his agent Scott Morris. But the aim all along was to ink a one-year pact with the hopes that the man who hammered 47 homers en route to the 2019 National League MVP honors can increase his value and cash in on the open market next winter. Bellinger's production fell off in 2020, but he was still an above-average offensive player who played outstanding defense. Although his high-quality fielding has remained, his play at the plate has cratered among a rash of injuries. It began when he separated his right shoulder while celebrating his go-ahead homer in Game 7 of the NLCS. Bellinger then had 3 stints on the injured list in 2021. He remained healthy for the bulk of 2022, but his bat never recovered, and he was ultimately benched during the postseason. Bellinger's only 27 years old, and his contract contains a mutual option for 2024. Given his recent results, he knows 2023 will be an important year in his career.